Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm sorry I couldn't be at the presentation today. I came back to Caracas for my sister's wedding this weekend, and unfortunately I just couldn't make it to class. But I still wanted to be a part of it, and so I made this video here, just talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. We'll be discussing creative approaches to conflict resolution as well as non-Western approaches to conflict resolution. Voltaire, Amber, Diane, Marie, and I will be doing a simulation later on and an exercise with all of you. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about what this topic means. Well, as you know, conflict resolution as an area of study and work was basically born in the U.S. in the 1950s and grew from there, which led to a predominant consideration and bias, basically, on a global level of Western methods of conflict resolution. Throughout the evolution of conflict resolution, it is important to acknowledge the fact that frequently used Western conflict resolution techniques such as negotiation and mediation, which we've seen obviously, are often prescribed as universal. But at the same time, there are challenges that come with making this assumption. At times, Western peace practitioners often come into conflict with subconscious cultural assumptions that ignore the potential options for solving the problem. Our activity today will allow you to explore different methods and appreciate different methods and approaches of conflict resolution that are creative in their approach and can also be considered non-Western in their application. Renowned conflict resolution theorist and practitioner John Paul Lederach examines the mistakes often made by conflict resolution practitioners and makes suggestions on how to learn from the culture in question where you're working. His writing provides a background on how culture is embedded in approaches to international peace and conflict resolution, and he mainly looks at how the artistic process can contribute to deeper and more successful resolution and reconciliation. This is not to say that there are not practitioners and theorists out there who take a more nuanced and culturally aware approach. It is just to say that the most popular approaches have typically been with a Western bias. So, today in this activity, we will look at creative approaches such as guerrilla marketing and entrepreneurial solutions to resolving or reducing conflict. Guerrilla marketing is a term coined several years ago as a creative approach to publicize any given product, event, or brand. Um, this tool is used frequently in the field of conflict resolution in order to draw attention towards an ongoing conflict or situation of violence, which causes this conflict to have better exposure to a larger audience and call attention to ending such violence. Through different techniques, there's shaming the actors involved to end the violence, or using public stunts in the middle of the street in order to reach a larger audience. Guerrilla marketing has been very effective in approaching just a larger population and giving more information towards the conflict. This has been used to call attention to conflicts and situations such as child soldiers in Africa, racism, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I mean, practically any conflict really has had this sort of techniques and has used guerrilla marketing. In the case of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, for example, Palestinians, for example, once set up a truck with several large speakers, and they would ride around like the high class neighborhood in Israel, where many Israeli army generals and politicians live. But instead, they would copy the message that the Israeli army broadcast in Palestine, which is saying that there was a curfew implemented and no one was allowed out, and they would basically copy this in this message. Um, so what we'll also be looking at in another branch of creative approaches is social entrepreneurial solutions to conflict resolution. This tool, although it's entrepreneurial in its sense, focuses on analyzing a situation of conflict or violence and it considers different products and ideas that can lead to diminishing this violence. I mean, at times the product can help lower disease in a low-income community, for example, or help alleviate poverty by supplying community members with possible development and growth tools. The rest of, I mean, okay, after my video, the rest of the team will present several examples in this area, especially in the entrepreneurial solutions. So right now, my team will pause this video and they will give you a presentation on these entrepreneurial solutions and different non-Western examples around the world, really. And well, actually, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit, so enjoy the presentation. Okay, so now for our activity today, after the presentation, we will enact a Truth and Reconciliation Commission in the classroom. As many of you may know, Truth and Reconciliation Commissions are tasked with discovering and revealing past wrongdoing by a government or at times even a non state actor as well, in the hopes of resolving conflict left over from the past. These commissions are created by the government following periods of internal conflict or unrest or civil unrest, such as a civil war, dictatorship, any really situation of civil unrest that has caused violence between different actors. These different examples include post-apartheid South Africa, after Liberia's murder civil war, throughout the FARC conflict in Colombia, and really just all over the world and a lot of countries, even Canada, have used Truth and Reconciliation Commissions. As government reports, they can provide proof against historical revisionism of state terrorism and other crimes and human rights abuses. Yeah, it's a helicopter. The other members of my group actually will now further explain to you the metaphorical conflict that you will all be involved in and the different actors that will be played. I hope you enjoy the activity, and I hope you take a lot from it and learn from it. I mean, we're very happy with the subject, and it really is a different approach to solving conflict, especially outside of the Western bias, as we've spoken. Well, guys, I mean, I hope you enjoy it. Have fun, and I'll see you soon. Bye.